Hey guys, Ripple Engine 95, recording live from Look County Prison Cell. I meant to. Did I say this when I did the Link Cloud one? But the reason I didn't do the Link Cloud one was because um, I didn't like with a rematch. It's kind of 50-50. So I'm not gonna spoil it, and I'm not gonna do any review on it. But at the same time, I'm also not gonna do a review on the next one after Link Cloud because I'm not even entirely sure about who the combatant they showed is, and I'm gonna have to look that up. But secondly, like I'll make a I'll I'll make a bunch of guesses as to who they could fight, and then it'll either be one of them or it'll be none of them. And it doesn't really accomplish anything because I'm not going any further than that. It's just making guesses. So all the prediction videos and analysis videos are just making guesses, but like this is literally like a get like this isn't like this is what I think is going to happen. It could be this or it could be this or it could be that. Like it doesn't accomplish anything. It doesn't set up an argument. It doesn't like present any information. It's literally just like I think it could be that. That's what's the point of doing that? So I just wanted to preface this video with that, but like I'm not going to be doing I'm going to be waiting until the actual matchup itself is announced before I do a prediction video for the next one. In the meantime, I'm going to be doing another analysis video. I try to get at least one done a week, or one done every other week at the very least. Um, and this is one that has kind of like jumped up out of nowhere, and it's like really popular. Like, if you type in one of these characters' names, this matchup comes up, which is weird when you consider when I announce who they are, you'll figure it out. Or if you just read the thumbnail, you figure it out. This is Captain America, Steve Rogers, simple. And Kamen Rider Ichigo, who is Kamen Rider 1, the original Kamen Rider from the 60s or 70s? Kamen Rider? I'm a little versed in Kamen Rider. I was always more of a Power Rangers guy, but I'm a little versed in Kamen Rider, not a whole lot. But yeah, I mean I get it. Like it makes sense, and like stylistically, it's a great they're a great choice for each other, and there are some like deeper connections. Like this is like how do I put this? So like people want Dio versus Alucard. There are more similar characters to Dio than Alucard, and there are more similar vampires to Alucard than Dio. But it's the style, it's the way, like it's the way they go about it. Like it's the presentation of the characters, not necessarily how they look, but just like how they would interact. That's like gorgeous, chef's kiss. Like that's why that fight is wanted. Also, they're anime vampires, but like I said, even then, there's a million of those. This is along that same vein. If it's like, are there more similar characters than Cap? Absolutely. Are there more similar characters to Ichigo? Yeah, I could pick any Power Ranger and it would work. But this is like these two just it's the fact that it's not necessarily how they look, but kind of like how they act and how they it's the kind of character they are. It's a little hard to explain. It's slightly abstract, but it's the way it's what makes the fight, in my opinion, a lot better than if I were to choose like Cap versus Guile or something, right? Not that that wouldn't work. I think this fight's a lot better, but like that's the way I'm looking at it. Um, so I can pretty much just skip Captain America, right? Like, you know, superhuman strength, superhuman speed, uh, vibranium shield, doesn't lose momentum, indestructible, versed in all martial arts. Frozen in Ice came back. Part of the Avengers, mainstay, arguably leader of the Avengers. In many cases, was definitely the leader of the Avengers and the leader against the Avengers. You know, like like you can't do I have to explain Captain America? Like honestly, so I can just like we all know who Cap is. Kamen Rider Ichigo might be a little less common knowledge. I didn't even try to do that. A common knowledge. Damn it! I shouldn't have said it in the video. I should have used that in the fucking description. Um. So, fuck, I forget his name. It's like Tetsu something. It's the guy who played Seiga Senshiro. To pull back the veil on that. Um. So the basically he was a guy who was 600 IQ biophysicist or some shit. He's also a motorcycle racer, like a near champion level motorcycle racer. He was going to compete in a champion, to become a motorcycle champion. Um, in the show anyway. In the original manga, it was a different backstory, but I think they'll probably go with the show in this case. Um, he gets captured by a villain known as the Shocker, who attempts to turn him into a cyborg, and does actually succeed in like both mutating him and turning him into a cyborg, giving him superhuman attributes. But does not succeed in controlling his mind. So he uses these newfound gifts to fight off Shocker and all of his minions and whatnot, other cyborgs essentially, as Kamen Rider, which there would later be several dozen incarnations of Kamen Rider, but he was the original. So his belt, so he gets his suit, which adds to his powers additionally, and redundantly according to that sentence, where it needs to absorb wind essentially to rotate and spin, and then that'll gather the energy to transform him into the suit form. Right, in this form, he can what is it? He can strike with like I think it's like 10 tons of force, and he can jump 15 meters in the air. He can uh, run 100 meters in 12 seconds, which at the time was above Olympic level, but now it's actually not even the Olympic record. um, he can like slice through steel pipes with a chop. He can, like, and he's famous for delivering like flying kicks and judo throws and all of that stuff. Like typical Sentai animation fighting style. Not animation, but yeah, Sentai fighting style. Um, he also has another suit that he was given. Well, more than one actually, but this character was also given another suit when he was kidnapped by Shocker again, who again implanted him with more cybernetic enhancements and tried to mind control him, but again failed to mind control him, so he basically just doubles up on his origin story and gains even more power from it, where his abilities are, even more double. Like he goes from 10 tons to I think like 50 tons. He goes from 15 feet to like 25 feet. He can see from like 4 miles away. He can hear from 10 miles away. Um, his grip strength is 20 times a normal person. And also, when he fought Ultraman, he showed the ability to grow equal to Ultraman's size, so like skyscraper size. This was known as what was it, like the the Rider 1-3 or something like that. Like it was like the third Rider 1 outfit, and I think it's also called like the power of it's like the power of all or something like that. Like that's what it's referred to because it doesn't have a specific weakness and it actually shares attributes of a lot of different suits that are specialized in certain things. Like it survived sub-zero temperatures. It survived a nuclear explosion, like right in his face, um, and all that sort of thing. So it's a little bit more diverse, a lot stronger, and it is in canon, and it is like a long-lasting thing that he's also shown to be able to revert from and go into his base one form. So I would assume they would put it in. There's another form that's even stronger than that, but I think that was just in the movie and it was a one-off because I don't think he ever used it again. So probably wouldn't use that. But they should definitely use the 3 form. Going into this fight, the tricky thing for me here is that neither of these characters really, none of their abilities really interact with each other. So, unlike normal, where that happens, where it's like, oh well, this would affect this character this way, this wouldn't affect it. You can kind of start pulling apart certain arguments. With this, it's probably just a numbers game because both these characters are very straightforward. They're just superhuman, hit really hard, hit really like they don't have any sort of like they don't have any like alternative abilities or anything. They don't shoot lasers. Cap has the shield, which is a variable, but and like I don't think Ichigo can outdo the shield, but at the same time, I don't think Cap can fight a skyscraper-sized dude by himself. Um, and if we're looking at numbers, I think Ichigo would be like in the base 3 form would be slightly more than Cap. Like I don't think Cap's ever lifted like 50 tons. Um so also a thing in the base 3 form is he doesn't need the wind to activate the suit, but like that, that's we're going to assume he can use the suit. So like that wouldn't be a variable. And like yeah, the shield is indestructible, but Cap's not. So I'm not saying it ends this way to be lazy. I'm just saying, like, this is a factor that I don't think. I think this is the determining factor. It's the giant form that I think wins this. Because if he just, like, steps on Cap in that giant form, Cap puts the shield up, he just still gets crushed underneath the shield. The shield is intact, but Cap's going to get crushed underneath it. And yeah, Cap's fought cyborgs, he's fought other superhumans, he's fought giant characters. Not skyscraper-sized characters, but, giant, relatively, characters. So, I mean, like, it's not like... And I would say Cap is probably better versed hand-to-hand. Ichigo is considered one of the most skilled hand-to-hand fighters among the Kamen Riders, but I still think Cap probably has it over him. It's just the fact that, like, that's an advantage. I'm not saying this was a I'm not saying this was like a blowout. This would be a blowout fight. I'm just saying, like, without going giant, I don't think Ichigo could beat Cap, right? But once Ichigo goes giant, I don't think Cap can beat him. So he would. That's just what I'm saying. Yeah. So, but this fight is really liked for some reason. So I hope I'm doing it. Another pun, justice. So, yeah. Anyway, uh, that's all I really have for it. It's hard to pull apart these fights that are like straightforward like this because, like I said, it's literally just numbers. And Kamen Rider gives you the benefit of like pointing out the statistics of the character, but Marvel requires you to do what Death Battle does and just like do calculations, and I don't do that, so I'm just gonna go ahead and say Ichigo wins this. Anyway, Verbal Engine 95.